How we doing? I am your host, Robert T. Gardner Jr., also known as Dr. Rob. Welcome to Station BOB, and let me tell you a little about thee. I am a kid from a Harlem hood who turned out good. I got educated like I should. Now I know how to help you grow to become the best of your being in life, love, and work. With that said, I am here to provide you with some clarity associated with the perplexity of the challenges in your life, love, and work. So, without further ado, let's get down on it. Enjoy the show. Yes. Welcome once again, my friend, to Station BOB, where you listen to learn how to become the best of your being in life, love, and work. I am your host, Dr. Rob, and as always, I'm excited, filled with joy and enthusiasm to bring yet another podcast to you. And so it seems like I've been going for a little bit. I've been wrapped up in this PhD program that I'm a part of, and I have to tell you, as much as I am enjoying it, it is really somewhat of a challenge, and sometimes it can cause delays in between podcasts. And to take a line from Michael Jackson, can it be that I stayed away too long? Did I leave your mind while I was gone? Well, I certainly hope not, because I love walking with you, talking with you, jogging with you, driving with you, rolling with you, and all of those things. So thank you once again, my friend, for tuning in, where I have another special podcast. And as you know, we offer content that makes sad people glad, and sometimes we might even make you mad, but that is not our goal. Our goal is to lift you up, to empower you, and to share with you the gems that we drop at Station BOB. So today's topic is you are in control. Now, what does that mean when I say that you are in control? I'm not talking about controlling others and things of that sort. What I'm talking about when I say that you are in control is that what I find in my travels, I see more and more how sometimes we do not realize how much we are in control of our own lives, more specifically our emotions, to how we are in control, or should be aware that we have to take better control of our emotions. And in order to do that, we have to become more aware of ourselves, more self-awareness, more self-regulation. And I think, what I have seen in my travels is that with some people, our feelings and our thoughts, sometimes they may be all wrapped up into one. And so what do I mean by that? What I'm saying is, if we are not aware of the power of our emotions, then we may not be aware of the power that they have on our thoughts. Like, in other words, sometimes we can be so wrapped up in our feelings that our thoughts and our feelings become one. And what do I mean by that? What I'm saying is, sometimes because of life's experiences, ups and downs. And sometimes this is just the way we are because of our childhood and some of the things that we have been through in life. And so what can happen many times is we start to feel the way we think and think the way we feel. And when we feel the way we think and think the way we feel, then our thinking and our feelings become all wrapped up in one. And that is never a good idea. Because when it comes to dealing with everyday life situations, you see, we can't operate like that in our lives, because then we may have a tendency to shut down. Like, in other words, if you're feeling the way you think and you're thinking the way you feel, there's no wiggle room in there, and especially when you're in a relationship. If you're in a relationship with another person, or even the relationship that you have with yourself, is that we have to remember that you are always in control, or should be in control of your feelings. And if you are more aware of yourself and who you are, then you can spread yourself apart. You can spread yourself apart from your thinking, and you can separate yourself from your feelings. So in other words, we can be so emotional at times that our emotions drive the way we think, and they drive the way we feel. And that is not a good prescription in terms of a way to live your life. So what I'm saying here is that when you think the way you feel and feel the way you think, then your feelings, your emotions are dictating the way you behave. Your feelings, your emotions dictate the way you see the world, the way you see others, and ultimately, you may diminish yourself in the process, because you may be so immersed in your own feelings that you compromise your ability to find less stress, less pressure, and true happiness. I once came across this quote, and the quote reads like this. It says that life is a tragedy for those who feel, and a comedy for those who laugh. So how do you interpret that? Life is a tragedy for those who feel, and a comedy for those who laugh. What I get from that is, when you live in your feelings, that creates less joy and happiness for you. It creates more stress, as opposed to when you think more and feel less. When you think more, you can find laughter, joy, and happiness. Because, see, thinking is the key to controlling your feelings. And so the moral of this story is to know and to believe that you can speak directly to your feelings in order to change the way you feel in the moment, or you can speak to your feelings to change the way you feel over all and every day thereafter. Yep, I said it. You can take control of your thoughts to better control your feelings. In other words, control your emotions. I mean, this is so key. I think this is really a key to life, to understand the power of thinking over the power of feelings, because the way our bodies work from an emotional perspective, your feelings will always prevail over your thinking if you allow that to happen. There's no question. We get emotional. You're driving on the highway, somebody may cut you off and you're yelling, "Hey, what the hell?" You see, right there, that's how your emotions have just taken over your thinking in terms of your focus on the highway. We watch a sporting event, football, basketball. The game is on the line. Your team is about to win, and then something, happens that gets in the way, and it causes a sudden loss. You're like, "Oh, damn! Oh man, what happened there?" And what I'm doing here is just trying to give examples, because I just said your emotions will always prevail over your thinking if you allow that to happen. And my point here is that, yes, it's okay to get excited about a football game or even a little disturbed if someone suddenly cuts you off on the highway or whatever the situation might be. But what I'm talking about is everyday life and understanding the power of your thinking, the power of your thought over your feelings, over your emotions, as opposed to the sudden instance. What I'm talking about is understanding on a day-to-day basis when we may not be feeling good or just having, those type of experiences where we tend to lean on our feelings and let our feelings drive our thinking. What I'm saying is we can take control of our thoughts and let our thoughts drive our feelings. So what I'm suggesting, what I'm talking about, is stop feeling the way you think and thinking the way you feel, as if those two things are one, which they are not. Know that your thoughts should dictate how you feel, as opposed to your feelings dictating how you think. Today is the first day of the rest of your life, and it is never too late to find a way to live a better way so that you can enjoy every day. When I come on the air on this podcast and I tell you that I am filled with joy, enthusiasm, and excited to be with you, that is how I really feel, because trust me, if I didn't feel that way, I would not be able to come across that way. This is not acting. That is where I am. And that is because I have learned over time to separate my feelings from my thinking. In other words, compartmentalize your feelings, compartmentalize your thoughts so that you can could better manage your feelings, because your thoughts and your thinking is dictating how you feel, and you are not, let me say, heavily influenced by the way you feel. Because if you're heavily influenced by, it's good to feel good. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when your feelings drive your thoughts, and your feelings and your thoughts become one. And the way to rise above that is to become more aware of the power of your thoughts, the power of your thinking over the power of your feelings. Because as I said a few minutes ago, your feelings will always prevail over your thoughts, because that's an emotion, and that is the way our bodies work. Okay? Emotions rise to the top, but your thinking is at the top. We just have to activate our thoughts to suppress the emotions that can sometimes drive us to feel real bad, real low, real emotional. And when we do that, we usually do not get or have good outcomes. So you will find yourself feeling much better every day. The day you wake up does not just have to be another day, okay? It could be whatever you want it to be. And I wanted to share this message with you today because, as I said earlier, in my travels, I come across many people who just seem to be allowing their feelings to become their thoughts, and then their thoughts are their feelings all wrapped up into one. And then what I find with these people, they have difficulties finding happiness, finding joy. And sometimes, every day is not going to be perfect. But we can, if we understand that we can control that by taking control of our thoughts and being aware that we can speak to our feelings, then we can reduce, we can diminish the number of days, the number of times that we don't feel as good as we should. And so, as I said, I come across so many people looking for affirmations, looking for acceptance. And I think basically they just seem not to be aware that all of what they are looking for is right there with them. And if you recognize your own feelings from within, if you look inside for enjoyment, you would be surprised what you could find if you just took the time to look inside. And so remember, it is important to be aware that you can and should separate your feelings from your thoughts, so that you can have better control over how you feel. Your feelings and your thoughts are two different energies. And if they frequently become one, then you may tend to make impulsive, emotional decisions that may not have good outcomes. And so let your thinking drive your feelings, so your feelings do not drive your thinking. Take control of your thoughts and speak to your feelings and see how things can change for you in a mighty powerful way. I mean, that's my message for you this week. And I think, the more we become aware of thyself, the more power we have over our lives, the more joy, the more happiness, the more control we can have over how we feel. I'm not talking about control over somebody else, control over your wife, control over your girlfriend. I'm talking about focusing on you. Focus on yourself so that you can become a better you. Because see, a better you, as I always say, is a better me. If you're good, I'm good. And there's enough room for all of us to be good. But we have to realize that. We have to realize that it's okay to speak to your thoughts, speak to your feelings so that you can separate your feelings from your thoughts and not allow them to be one, because they are two separate, two different energies. And with that said, I hope it's all good with you. We got a holiday weekend coming up next week. It's the Memorial Day weekend, and we want to give a big ups to all of our veterans who sacrificed their lives, their bodies, their time to defend us here at home in these United States. And so with that said, I want you to remember that happiness is a choice. Choose happiness. Okay? And as I always say, remember that love is an action, not a word, and it is not supposed to hurt. And so until we meet again, be nice to somebody that you don't know. And remember, take control of your thoughts so that you can be all that you can be and feel as good as you want to feel. It's right there for you. You just have to take control of your thoughts. I'll talk to you later. Peace. As we wrap up this show, I hope this topic helped you to grow. And now you know a little bit more than you knew before. If you have any questions about this topic, please email me at changeagentrtg@gmail.com. See my website, relationshipreadiness.org, to learn more about my counseling, consulting, and educational programs related to life, love, and work. Finally, in the words of the late, great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., if I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody he is traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. Until we meet again, do the right thing when nobody is looking. Peace, beloved.